real business owners.
Welcome back to the Real Business Owners Podcast. This is episode 58 with myself, Trevor, Cowley, and Kale, Goodman.
What's up?
Guys, today's topic is a topic that's very, very important if you are serious about getting to the point where you want to be highly successful, right? Today's topic, we're going to talk about dropping the deadbeats, right? Dropping deadbeat friends, deadbeat, potentially family members, getting that completely out of your life in general. It's a very, very important topic because if you actually analyze and take a look at successful people, they're masters at surrounding themselves with other people at a high level.
Absolutely.
And people wonder why successful people only want to hang out with other successful people. One of the reasons being is because successful people don't really make excuses. They don't like negative energy. You know, they value who they are as an individual is protected by who they surround themselves with almost, right? So they insulate themselves with only good people. Right. The issue is we all grow up with friends that, don't grow up. You get to a point where you're 21, 22, 25, 30, 40, whatever it is, and you notice that some of those old friends that you used to run around with, they still have some of the same habits, still jumping from job to job, still complaining about everything that's going wrong in their life, taking absolutely no ownership of that. And these individuals are basically people that will suck your energy, right?
It's a perfect topic after
so.
our last week topic with the victim mentality, because those are the people you need to get out of your life,
that's
man.
true.
You know?
I didn't even put that together, but it is. And just to start this episode, what you need to understand is you have to actually get rid of the old in order to make room for the new.
You do.
And it's very difficult to do because in between that period of time, there could be maybe a lonely period of time of not hanging out with who you used to hang out with and just saying, no, I'm good. I don't want to go party this weekend. No, I don't want to go to the bar this weekend or whatever it is that they normally do. Yeah. And you get to the point where you say no enough, they stop texting you.
Yeah, that's the thing, man, is like we see the memes or we see the the sayings all the time of,
the habit
you need to erase negative people out of your life. But like people really don't strategically know how to do that a lot of times, man. I've done the fade out like that. And I've also had hard talks with people. Yeah. One of them was my own mother. Yeah. My mom was such a victim, man. And like, she just wasn't good for me when I was trying to grow. And it was like, I had to tell my own mother, like, sorry, I just can't be close to you right now. Like,
just don't come around.
All you do is complain. All you do is talk about, how bad your life is and how everything's not your fault. And it's amazing, dude. Like, I literally didn't talk to my mom for a couple years now, and that was really hard to do. But she's come around. She's back in my life. She doesn't do that stuff anymore. Like, I have hard boundaries now of, like, she knows, like, well, I'm not going to go talk about how, whatever, your dad screwed me over when our divorce, or, she didn't talk about that shit anymore, or his new wife and all this shit. We don't have those talks anymore. She just wants to be around the grandkids and that. And I want her in my life, right? But I didn't want her in my life when she's actually dragging me down.
Exactly.
So you got to have hard talks with some people.
It's one thing getting to the point where you can actually just enjoy their company versus, oh my God, she's coming over again. Mm-hmm. Like,
it's finally gotten there, dude. Yeah. Over the last couple of years, I've inched her back into my life. Yeah. But it's finally to a point where it doesn't bother me if she pops by or anything. It doesn't, like you say, suck my energy to just like dealing with it.
When you hear the shit, you get a text, hey, I'm in the neighborhood, I'm going to stop by. You're just like, oh God. Yeah. Coming by again.
Well, parenting tip too, totally separate the topic. You don't talk about your shit with your exes or even your current spouses with your kids, man.
That's true.
It's miserable.
So, I mean, how do we know if your friends are deadbeats? That's the real question, right? Because you have this certain place in your heart for an individual, right? You have a history with an individual. You've been through a lot of good times. You've been through some bad times. Yeah. How do you identify an individual is bad for you or a deadbeat friend, so to speak, right? And what I would say is just watch their habits.
I was literally going to say habits. Man.
Habits. What are their habits?
What are your habits when you're with them, too? Because, dude, people influence people, man. And so, if I go hang out with a bunch of my buddies and we get drinking and partying on the deer hunt, which is something I still like to do.
Yeah.
But dude, it takes me down a notch. You know what I mean? I still do that every year, but I do it once a year. Like I don't, and I love those people, but it's like, you can't go do that shit all the time. So if you're hanging out with people all the time and your habits together are
negative,
counterproductive of where you really want to be, like, dude, that's a big telltale sign.
And part of looking at the habits is, again, what we talked about just a few minutes ago. Are they constantly jumping from job to job, constant complaining about their boss or where they work, or complaining about their situation, or I'm getting kicked out of this house, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that.
Right. So borrowing money from you, dude.
Borrowing money, Dude,
it's so rude. It's so rude to like, I've helped people out and I like to help
many
people.
Times.
But when they just start getting to the point where they're like just taking advantage, it puts you in a more uncomfortable position than them.
Yeah.
Like we've both had those friends that have had a hard time kicking drug habits, and it's just constant like take, and they just get so used to it. They just look at you like a lifeline.
Yeah.
Right. And you're over here like, dude, I feel taken advantage of, and I feel like now I got to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
I got to now cut you out of my life, and it puts you in the awkward position, which sucks, but it's worth it.
But so if they're putting you in an awkward situation, is that a friend that you should have?
Absolutely not.
Right. Absolutely not, right? So that's what it really comes down to. Are they putting you in bad situations? Are they constantly asking things from you all the time? Right? If they're constant, if you don't hear from somebody in a year and then all of a sudden they need to get bailed out of jail, who do they call? They call you because you got a little bit of money.
Yeah.
You're the saving grace of these friends that you have that choose to constantly make bad choices. Right. And they can continue to make bad choices because they have friends that'll ultimately bail them out of the situation, right? So let me ask you, would somebody that's worth millions of dollars want to continue to hang out with somebody that's going in and out of jail or jumping from job to job, or again,
well, yeah, exactly, or even somebody on the pursuit of it, people with momentum to those goals, like they're growing themselves, and those are the people that you want to surround yourself with, even if they're not worth millions of dollars, but they're that type of mindset person, like.
Well, the friends that text you, hey, you want to go work out? You want to go to the gym?
Yeah.
Do you want to go do the, like positive, healthy things?
Right.
Those are the type of people that you want to surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
Right. And so, I can credit Kale, when me and Kale started hanging out, and, I looked up to Kale quite a bit. He was, successful in business. And, after a period of time of working for Kale, I became a partner of Kale's. Right. And, we've done some amazing things over the years. But throughout that time prior to that, I had to go through a 2, 3, 4 year period where I really just didn't do much.
Right.
I just stopped hanging out. Everyone would start coming to me and be like, oh, hey, this party or that or that. And I'm like, oh, thanks for the text, just like goofing off. And they're like, we don't text you anymore.
I admired that about you, man. Like, even when we would do a couple Vegas trips with the wives, or why hasn't Trevor Nicole come or whatever, I'm just like, dude, he doesn't like putting himself in this position because he's grown past that chapter in his life. Like, he's been to Vegas. He's done things he didn't, feel like that were productive for him or that he's proud of. And so that's in his past. He's working through that. And, like, the fact that you have enough strength and you have enough mental clarity or toughness to be like, hey, I know that's not good for me, I'm not going to do it. Because most people are going to be like, well, I'm going to go to Vegas and hang with my friends, but I'm just not going to drink, and I'm not going to gamble, and I'm not going to go to the club scene or the strip club scene or whatever it is, right? And then, dude, you get there and it's totally different, right?
Oh, yeah. You have 1 or 2 drinks or something. Yeah. Even if you say you're not going to have a drink, okay, I'll have one. One turns into 2, turns to 3, and then it turns into 3 in the morning. And then, that's just the way it is. But, my friends just flat out at one point said they stopped texting me because I always said no.
Yeah, and you're like, good. You probably actually kind of stings a little bit.
Yeah,
you're like,
it
oh,
does.
Man, it's true. Am I doing this? Am I pushing people away? It's like, well, those are the people I want to push away.
You're gonna, if you're serious about success, you're gonna probably go through a period of time where you will be alone or not have groups of people that you surround yourself with. Yeah. So if you surround yourself with a group of people right now and they have a lot of unhealthy habits, in other words, they complain all the time. Anything that happens is not their fault. Yeah. Again, these are negative energy type people. They just suck the energy out of you because they're always talking about themselves. Like a narcissist, right? Like me, poor me, poor. They want you to feel bad for them all the time. And we all have friends who are like, man, I feel bad, but It is what it is. They've made their choices, and that's their bed. They're going to have to lie in it.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. I've had close friends pass away because they couldn't kick some of their old habits. I've had friends go in and out of jail for many, many years, and I've watched them struggle as I've grown in terms of business as an individual. And I will say that if I continued to hang out with the group that I used to hang out with and do the things that I used to do, I would not have been an individual deserving of success. Right. That's just the facts, because
so true,
I didn't have the proper habits. Right. My habits didn't align with successful people's habits. Yeah. So this goes back to some of the stuff we've talked about before. Analyze what successful people do. What do they do?
Right.
And then copy what they're doing. We've talked about this before. Successful people have podcasts, so we decided to do a podcast. They have videographers, we decided to hire a videographer. What else do successful people do? They choose to surround themselves with high vibrating type people that just they're at a whole different frequency.
Join groups where they know those people are going to be. They get out and network within their industries with the higher people up in their industries. Yep. Like many people that we network with are at levels 2, 3, 4, 5 times us. You know what I mean? Which is smart strategically, but we have a lot of shit in common. It's easy to connect with those people because we're on a pursuit there. But one thing I'd like to say is how important it is to, with the ones you really care about, have that hard conversation with them. Like, I literally not too long ago, Bobby, dude, I grew up with him. He's one of my best friends from childhood. Yeah. And like, we were just talking not too long ago because he's come such a long way. And he was like, dude, remember when you broke up with me? Like, we literally were laughing about it, but I had to have a hard conversation. I'm like, bro, you just are not good for my life right now, bro. I can't be around you.
I think you've done that multiple times to couple family members. I think you've done it to some friends.
Dude, it's hard. It's a hard conversation to have. But if you really care about them, you're not doing them any favors by, oh, dude, sure, I'll bail you out, or oh, I'll take your call, and sure, I'll be there for you, and all these things when you're just self-destructing and being, like the victim or the poor me or whatever it is, right? The narcissist, whatever it is. And it's like, dude, if you really care about them, sometimes you say, dude, because I care about you, I'm cutting you out of my life, man. Like, I want to go do this, and this in my life. I can't do it if you're going to have these habits in your life or these people dragging you down in your life, which is now affecting my life.
Well, I mean, if you're always there and you're always bailing them out of situations and you're just kind of the hotline, so to speak, to, borrow money or bail them out of a situation, whatever it is, right. All you're doing is justifying their bad choices, because once those lifelines run out and they have nobody to reach out to anymore, that's the wake-up call that they need.
Absolutely.
Is they need people to remove them out of their lives so many times that maybe that they finally take a hard look in the mirror and say, I need to change.
Yeah.
I'm losing all these people that I care about, whether it was your mother, whether it's Bobby, or whoever it is, right?
So the ones that really matter will come back into your life if they go and make the adjustments, and they'll thank you.
Yes.
Like Bobby started reaching out back to me after dude, we didn't talk very often at all for years, and then all of a sudden he starts calling me up like, hey man, like he's asking me investment advice because he's making 20, 25 grand a month now in a commission job. And I was like, dude, I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you, dude. And he needed to hear that. And then he's asking me for investment advice. Now we hang out a lot more, and we're on a better level together now, right? Like, well, it's a good
he now
friendship.
Understands.
Right.
He understands what it's like. There's a lot of what's the right word? I don't know what the right word is. Responsibility. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And part of your responsibility when it comes to making a lot of money is being an individual that is an example to other people. Okay. Right. And in order to be an example to other people, whether you know it or not, people are watching. You are a person of influence, whether it's just a small influence of your family, whether it's an influence of your community or your neighborhood, an influence at your job, no matter what it is, there's somebody that's looking at you, and you can influence people. Everybody can influence somebody. Okay. Whether
I think everybody does at some point.
I think that they do. I think everybody can influence people in a positive way. Yeah. I think that they don't understand that they are also, when they're not conscious of trying to be positive, that they're influencing people in a negative way. Right. But nobody ever takes a look at the mirror and says, well, man, I maybe I'm a bad friend, or, maybe I need to make some adjustments. Usually there has to be something that has to happen that's negative towards that individual, like losing a friend or two, or, getting to the point where some of their friends are moving on, buying houses and starting families, and then they're going to hit a spot where they're kind of lonely, and they're going to do some digging and some soul searching and realize, holy shit, everybody that I used to surround myself are doing something now. I need to start taking life seriously and start really committing to something, right? Rather than committing to Friday nights, because that used to be my life.
Yeah, especially if you're kind of in your 20s or even your 30s, man. If your life's about the weekend and the partying and like, you know, you probably got some pretty shitty friends around you. Yeah. No, I'm not going to say shitty, but you got not really great influential people around you that's not going to really help you get to where you want to go. Really.
Well, your habits will be absorbed by them, and their habits will be absorbed by you. The problem is if you're the one person out of a group of, let's say, 5 people that are actually wanting to be successful, you've got 4 people. Their habits are going to control your habits far more than your habits will control their habits, because they're the majority. Right. It's one thing that if somebody's really not that successful or they don't have a lot going for them, but there's 2 or 3, 4 friends that are in that group and they've been a group of friends for a long period of time, you know, again, the majority's habits will rub off on the other people. The question is in your group, is the majority of people having habits of those that are successful?
Do they have goals? Are they literally ambitious? Are they literally hard workers? You know what I mean? Like, those are the people you want to surround yourself with. It's not even necessarily an income level thing, man. It's like, I want to be around people that have big goals, big ambitions, and they back it up with work ethic. And you know that about somebody pretty quick.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, you, again, if they're very consistent working out, if they're always trying to learn new shit, like, you know, those are the type of people that you want to surround yourself with. Because I would say me and you together have helped lift each other up.
Oh, yeah.
To new levels.
Not even a question.
Right? And so, but if I was going at it alone, it could be a completely different story. So the power of surrounding yourself with the right people is so great that you cannot miss this opportunity to start making some of these decisions in your life right now.
Right.
Okay. Whether it is your mother, whether it is your uncle or your cousin, or you're a sibling or a friend or an old acquaintance in high school or college or whatever it is. Everybody, 100% of people have somebody in their life that's just a negative person.
Totally.
Unfortunately, you know, people that are negative. What's the old saying? It's like where you drag them down or whatever. I forget what that thing is. I'm so forgetful
ball
today.
And chain.
Yeah, the ball and chain. You know, they just drag you down, right? Yeah. And so. They love drama. You know, these are the type of people that you need to gossipers.
Man. You know, and that's an area I struggled with, dude. I had to catch myself, dude, doing that sometimes. Like, damn, I'll get sucked into that gossip shit sometimes. And no wondering who's doing what or fucking up or you know what I mean. I've been caught up in the gossip shit, but it is a good telltale sign. The person you're hanging around is gossiping a lot. That they are a dramatic drama, a negative drama.
Yeah,
person.
If they gossip about somebody else's failures.
Yeah.
Are they talking about other people's successes, or are they talking about other people's failures?
That's a whole other category, right? Like, dude, those are haters, bro.
Like, okay, so why would you want to surround yourself with somebody that likes to talk about other people falling?
Yeah.
They should be talking about, hey, dude, did you see so-and-so? He just bought a new Lamborghini, or he just did this. He just got into this business or invested into that. It's crazy what this individual's doing.
Well, if you're the type of person where you hear people talking shit like, you know, whatever, dude, he's, you know, got... you know, some syndrome, thinks he has to buy, you know, Bentleys and Rolls Royces or jacked up trucks or whatever. It's like, if you're the type of person that's like, listen, dude, like, why don't you just be happy for them? That was obviously goalers they worked their ass off for. If you can call people out that are being the haters, you know, that's gonna attract more of the type of people that you want around you, I think. Right? Because I know I do that. When I hear people say shit like that and call people out, like, dude, that's the type of person I want to hang around.
Yeah,
I like that person. When he's happy for people that win instead of hating on them, that's the kind of dude I want to hang around. That's the type of chick I want to hang around.
Yeah. You should be, again, talking about other people's successes, not other people's failures.
Totally. 100%.
So when somebody's talking about somebody else's failures, it's helping them feel good about their current bad situation that they're in. Dude, and
that's a great point.
They celebrate other people's losses because it helps them justify and feel good about not having wins.
Yeah, when you see them people hating and talking about people, they're almost glad when they fail and shit. Like, that's just not cool, man.
Yeah, negativity just breeds negativity. That's just what it is. And so,
What do you? Let me ask you this: what do you think about this whole COVID-19, all this shit going on in the world right now? Like, I know on Facebook anyway, it's really exposed a lot of negative people, and I don't go around and like block people, but I look at like people I know and shit. And I'm just like, damn, I don't even want to engage, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I did get sucked into a little bit because I'm like, dude, how can you say that, right? And you start kind of, and then it just sucks you in, and then I'm like, why did I even get sucked in, dude?
Well,
but then I know, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even want to engage. I don't care if it's on a post or if I see him in public. Like, I just don't even want to engage with that person. Not because we don't have the same beliefs, but because of how. Like you attacked,
they go about
how
it.
negative you were. Like you're not even open-minded to other points of view. You're not even, you're not even reasonable.
How many times have you started writing out something and then just deleted it?
Oh, dude, I've done that so many times.
So many times.
And a lot during this whole pandemic, plandemic, whatever you want to call it. You know? But and all this racial stuff and all these protests, it's like, man,
there's so much. Again, just as we talked about on last pod, there's so much negativity, and I actually think that this is a perfect time right now. Like the curtain's been pulled back.
The true colors.
Now is the time that it's the easiest in the entire world to be negative.
That's what I wanted to bring it up. I was like wondering if that's your thoughts on it too. Is if you feel like this time really highlights those people that you probably need to get rid of in your friend circle or social circles.
When everything's going great and everything's perfect, and they're sharing this or that or whatever,
right.
and when something negative happens, they like to talk about it. Yeah. They like to share information about it. There's the shit stirrers that love I just posted that just to get in an argument. I just want to see what other people would say. Yeah. And those are the type of people that you don't want in your life. Yeah. There's been plenty of times where I've wanted to say something or do something, and I'm just like, is something positive going to come from this?
Does this even deserve my energy, man?
Exactly.
Like, why exude energy on this shit? The time I take to sit there and argue with someone on Facebook, because, dude, they can go back and forth. They can get long.
Oh, yeah.
So you can write a chapter in your book, dude. Yeah. You get out and write your freaking a post on business.com or, actual productive content, that you could put out in the world in the same amount of energy and time that you spend arguing with some asshole on a social media platform.
So just so that we're being 100% transparent here, you guys, in some cases, you have to buy your way into some of these groups, right? We've talked about these groups. We've talked about coaching. We've talked about mentoring. Like, successful people are very, very selective about who they hang out with. So much so that they actually charge people to be in their presence and to gain their knowledge. Yeah. This is information that they've taken years to acquire, spent lots of money going through the trial and error process, and now they're sharing information with you when you're inside these closed coaching or mentoring groups that are very, very valuable. Now, it's not only the coach or mentor that's valuable, it's the individuals inside the group.
No, that's the most important, valuable thing.
And those are now going to become the individuals that you associate with most often.
They're more your friends.
Your Facebook feed will start looking like a group of people that have similar interests, common goals.
Yeah, buy new friends, guys.
Yeah, buy new fucking friends. They're out there. I'm for sale.
It's kind of like what it is, right? You're not really buying friends. You're buying into a culture or just a group of people that you want to surround yourself with. But the friendships become natural, dude? You know what I mean? Like,
it's because there's so much common ground.
Yeah.
Everybody understands the struggle, and the funny thing about these groups. I was
messaging some new guys into the Arte group just the other night. I know they're going to end up being awesome like clients or things that we'll do together. Yeah. And it's like, that's not what we're even talking about right now. But I just can tell, like, oh, dude, this guy's a stud. He's doing this. He's doing that. Or
because they're looking for angles to grow.
Yeah.
And they know through networking there's growth, right? They say your network is your net worth, right? And so you got to understand. Look at the 3 or 4 or 5 people that you hang out with. Would you trade places with them? Mm-hmm. Would you want their income? Would you want their life? And if the answer is no, really across the board, you have the wrong friends. Yep. Right? They're not uplifting. They're not trying to go to the next level. And if they're not trying to go to the next level and you go to the next level, guess who they're calling when they need something? They're going to call you. Yeah. And so usually that's what happens is initially there's going to be a separation period where you have your group of friends and then you commit to being on this journey of success and trying to do something better for yourself. And then you start separating yourself from the pack a little bit, and you go back and still hang out with them a little bit. So you're in this weird limbo phase where you're trying to go one direction, but then you come back to your old habits.
Man, I love my homies. I feel like I'm being a traitor.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Some of that
I'm not
shit.
like that. I don't care.
I'm not a sellout.
Yeah, exactly. So
well, you should be. You should sell out of the shit in your life if you really want a great one, and you deserve a great life.
The only thing they're selling out is their opportunity of growth and success.
Exactly.
That's what you're selling out.
Yeah.
It's not your responsibility to save somebody else. That individual is solely responsible for their future, for their success.
Be an influence in their life from afar, right? Like, man, he really did cut the cord on, all the, people that were holding him back, and look where he's at now. Maybe I should do that.
Exactly.
You become a positive influence from afar.
Just because you're not friends with that individual or hang out with that individual doesn't mean that you're enemies with that individual.
Right.
It doesn't mean
you still have much love for him.
Exactly.
Just like Bobby coming back into my life, dude. I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm so glad he's back in my life.
You'll welcome him with open arms. He's at a whole different point in his life, and when you hang out with him, it's not negativity.
True, dude.
Right? Drinking to the point where you can't even know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it gives him crazy eyes.
Get the crazy eyes, or
crazy eyes.
We all got friends. We all have friends that have done that and gone through that, and hopefully they grow out of it. But the best way for you to help that individual grow out of it is by you removing yourself from that situation, so that they can watch you grow from afar. And then at that point, there might be, again, some negative people are going to be jealous and they're going to talk shit. Oh, they've changed. Fuck yeah, I've changed. Yeah. That's the whole point. Why the hell would I want to be the same person I was when I was 18 when we were hanging out when I'm 28 or 38 or 48?
Right.
At 18, I wasn't an individual deserving of success because I hadn't gone through the things that I needed to go through in order to get there.
Right.
And so what you need to understand is everybody's going to come to that realization at a different point in their life. And if you're at the point where you're kind of trying to be successful and you yo-yo back to those old friends, eventually you need to get to the point where you stop yo-yoing back, because you're going to hit a plateau, right? You start tasting it a little bit, and then you're going back some of the old habits. Eventually you're going to change one habit, and then another habit, and another habit, and it'll start being a compound effect, and you'll start getting far more momentum when you just cut the chain, cut the anchor, right? Get rid of the negative, right? Like, imagine if, let's say, 100 pounds represented a friend. And if your friend complains, if your friend's not trying to be successful, again, you don't have to automatically hang out with people worth millions of dollars, but are they trying to do something to better themselves? If you ask your friends right now, hey, let's go to this Tony Robbins event, or let's go to this event, and let's go.
Or if you just ask them, what are your goals? What are your goals for this year, man? Like, what are your goals for life, dude? Like, what do you want when you start a family, or what do you want for your family that you already have in the next 5-10 years? You know what I mean? Like,
I would bet that
where do you really want to be?
If they picked 2, 3, 4 people that they hang out with, each one of those, let's say they're 100-pound anchors, that's 400 pounds that you're trying to drag with you to success, and it's just not going to happen. Remove the freaking chains, remove everything, and you can move freely.
Yeah.
Okay?
Because if I didn't know you that well, like, we were just like pretty good friends, but not as close as we are, and you're like, dude, what's the end result for you? Like, what do you really want in your life? I could tell you like that because I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I'm chasing. And, like, not to brag or anything, but, like, that's a pretty good telltale sign that you're hanging out with somebody that has really good end goals. But if you're with somebody, you talk to a good friend, like, hey, man, what do you really see yourself ending up in life? What do you really want? And they're like, I don't know, man. I'm just hoping I can, get to here and be happy, or, get my 10 years into this company and hit retirement, or whatever it is, 20 years or whatever. You know what I mean?
Like
it's well,
coasting.
do you want a friend like this is going to be such a settler, right? You know, so, and they're not bad. I'm not saying they're bad people, like, but is that the type of person that's going to serve you on your journey? Yeah.
That's the inside the groups that we're talking about here, there's amazing people that are trying to do big shit.
Oh, dude, and your whole Facebook feed changes. Your whole Instagram feed changes.
That's what I was saying just a little bit ago. I was saying you go on your Facebook and everybody has common interests, common goals. They're talking about.
I don't even see some of the old shit. Like,
I don't either.
My wife hit me up not too long ago. She's like, "Did you see what so and so put on Facebook?" I'm like,
I know. I'm like, I don't
ever see anything from them anymore. She's like, "Oh, she posts all the time, or he posts all the time."
I don't see that
I don't even
stuff.
see it because Facebook knows that I'm interested in seeing all this, so they don't even show me this shit anymore.
Yeah, be careful.
That's the good thing about the algorithms or whatever.
Be careful about what you like. Don't like a friend's post if you really don't like a friend's post,
or
because eventually it'll stop showing you.
Commenting on it, because that shit did start popping up again.
After you comment on something, then you start being in front of negative people. Okay, so right now is a perfect time where everybody's exposed. Individuals are either talking about, "Hey, we'll get through this. It's just a moment in time. It's not a big deal. There's opportunities everywhere." Those are the type of people that you want in your life. Right? That are just helping solidify some of the same thoughts that you have, but sometimes you second guess yourself. Everybody goes through a process where they second guess themselves. The question is do you have friends when you're second guessing yourself that will help you solidify your thoughts in a positive way? Or do you have friends that speak more towards the negative subconscious shit that is happening constantly behind the scenes where, oh, you're not good enough, you're this, you're whatever. There's the naysayers that are out there.
Oh, dude.
Right? Oh, this is going to happen forever. This is, man, I'm screwed. They're just constant complaining, like things just keep happening to them that they have no control over. And again, you are the individual that they're dumping this shit on. Right. You got to understand every word and everything that somebody says is vibrating at a specific frequency, right? And so it's almost like a radio, right? If you don't like the radio, turn the channel, right? If you don't like that song that makes you feel sad inside or angry or rage or whatever, and then sometimes you hit that one song with a banger beat that makes you like, oh yeah, I feel good, like. That's why fighters, before they go out to a fight, they've got their theme music. They've got their shit that they're going to use to pump themselves up before they go to battle, right? So the question is are the people that you're around, are they speaking at and vibrating at a high frequency when they communicate? Right. Because you can feel things, when you really start getting into it, and there's, again, the feeling of, oh, so-and-so's coming over again. If that's what you get when you get that text from that person or somebody's coming over or this and you just don't really care for it, maybe that's an individual that you shouldn't have in your life. Why should you continue to feel that same feeling over and over and over and over? Right. You're the problem now because you're accepting it. Yep. And the other question is, are you a shitty friend? Yeah. People need to be asking themselves that, right? Like, I would say, because I don't hang out and I don't really like hanging out, like if I choose to on Friday night just have a quiet night at home versus going and raging, are the people that you hang out with understanding of that? That you choose to be selective when you go have a drink. It's just not something that you do every single weekend anymore. I mean, at one point, I had a group of friends, I'd be blacking out 4 to 5 times a week, and that's not a joke. I
remember, dude.
I was drinking. I would be throwing up at freaking Texas Roadhouse on a damn Tuesday or after a Monday night football game, and I had work the next day. And so, but I continued to go. I had fun. I'm not gonna say it wasn't fun, but you can have fun and be broke and miserable outside of being intoxicated. Yeah. Because you have to get intoxicated to have fun if you're broke and miserable, right? Or you could start focusing on being alone and being there is going to be some misery there when you're letting go of something old and trying to find something new. You're going to fall into this no man's land where you leave what you've known for your whole life and you're venturing out and you're in no man's land and you feel like, man, maybe I should hang out with my friends. I miss them. Again, there's great memories. There's good times. Sure.
If you can remember them.
The ones that you remember. I've got pictures that I don't want to remember.
It's crazy crazy you even bring up those days, dude. You've come so far.
It is.
And I know you've worked on it for years and years and years, and you have been a true example to so many of your old friends and me. And so, dude, you've come a long way, bro. You've been very dedicated to yourself, and that is something that I would highlight for people. Is like, it's okay to be dedicated to yourself. It's not selfish to take care of yourself and do what's best for you. You are better for people around you when you take care of you.
Exactly.
Whether they agree or not. There have been times where I'm like, damn, why don't Trevor just come out and like, let's go do this trip or whatever. But dude, you're going through and doing what you need to do for you at that time to be the best you. And so I got to understand that, right? Sometimes maybe you don't initially, but you do understand later on. Like, dude, he's just doing what he needs to do to be his best person. And that's okay. So as you do start letting go of people in your lives and you start growing as an individual, and you have those feelings of like, man, am I being selfish or this or that? Because you'll hear that shit. Like, oh man, all you do is care about yourself, or all you care about is making money now, or all you care about is your business, or you know what I mean? You do hear that shit. And so it's like, you need to be prepared for that and just know that it's okay.
That's part of the process. It's okay. That's part of the process.
If people think you're selfish, it's okay. And it's okay for you to flip that narrative and be like, you know what? I'm not being selfish. I'm just being self-interested in my future and the type of person I want to be, because it is better for people.
I think it's selfish to go hang out and party. Yeah. I think it's selfish to not try to progress, because that's the easy route to go down. You know, I think the reason why I state that is because if you don't have a family yet, there's a future family waiting for you that's depending on you to start making better decisions.
Yeah.
And it's selfish to not start making better decisions.
Yeah.
Okay? It's selfish to have other people that are unborn have to come into a situation that's a negative situation.
Yeah.
Right? And if you currently have a family and you have friends that maybe aren't that positive, it's selfish to continue to go down that same rabbit hole over and over and over and expect a different result if you currently don't like where you're at.
So true.
It's you need to put the people that you truly, truly love, which is one, yourself, okay, above everything. You are the entity that's going to be responsible for how your entire life turns out. So should you be selfish in the fact that you focus on you and becoming the best you that you possibly can? Yes, you should. Other people that are negative will call it selfish.
Yeah.
That's just because they are the ones that were removed from your life, and that's an easy thing for them to say to, again, justify some of the negative decisions that they make. Oh, all they care about is money.
Right.
I care about freedom. I care about making sure my family's taken care of.
Yeah.
I care about my employees and making sure that they're taken care of. I care about my friends. I care about being able to have my kids travel freely, which I didn't have the luxury of doing that growing up. Right. You know, I was promised a Disneyland trip for probably 12 fucking years. Never saw Disneyland until I was like 27 or 8, until I had my first child, right? And so I think it was selfish of my father to not try to make something out of himself, because it's easy just to go in 9 to 5, clock out, sit at home, eat a bag of potato chips or whatever it is, and sit in front of the TV. That is selfish.
Yeah.
Or coming home and then leaving to go drink.
Yeah.
You know, that is selfish, because all you're doing is focusing on you and you're taking the easy route. Okay, so hanging out with the old people, that's the easy route. We're talking about it because it's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to remove negative people from your life that you used to have great times with. But remember, you had good times with them when you didn't have responsibilities.
Right.
Usually at a younger age, when you could go drink and go party and nobody's blaming you for it at 20 or 21 years old or 18 or whatever it is. And again, I'm not condoning underage drinking, but shit, I was sure guilty of it. And again,
you always find someone to buy it for you. You know?
Oh, goodness. Everybody's got an older brother or something. You know, again, I'm not condoning it, but you know, I've made plenty of bad choices, and I had to live with some of the repercussions of those choices.
And we all do, man. And you really have come so far, man. Proud of you. And
DUIs were a thing between me and my group.
I remember you driving the speed limit, making sure your taillights were never out, because you're like, dude, I gotta walk right now, bro.
and it's bad to say that, but look,
but you had to get to work, bro. You were trying to change your life.
I have 4 DUIs on my record, and it was from that period of time, and I got 2 of them within like 3 months of each other. Right. And so that was a time. And again, I can't tell you I wasn't having fun.
Right.
You know, I wasn't married at the time. We were all partying, and it was go to the bar and drink. And then the party would come back to somebody's house, and we would enjoy ourselves. It was an awesome, awesome time in my life. But that wasn't a time for growth.
Right.
That wasn't a time of when I was trying to do something for myself that was positive.
Yeah.
All I was focused on was blacking out, apparently, right? And getting DUIs because I was maybe subconsciously not happy with where I was at that point in life.
Probably a lot of people go through that.
You come off of drugs and you start drinking.
I do that sabotaging shit. Dude, still to this day. I mean, we're always growing, right? We're always trying to grow and get to new levels and be greater or better people. But you do sabotage sometimes, and so it's highly likely, dude, that if you're doing that shit, that's what it is, man. You're unhappy with some things, and so you are just submitting to. Fuck it. Why not just get?
Yeah.
Why not get?
Exactly.
Why not go party? Why not just do what makes me feel good right now?
And when you get to the point of starting to become successful and you have a business, you're gonna have friends that want to work for you.
Yeah.
They're gonna want the hookup, and then when they want the hookup, that's all good and dandy. Give them a shot if that's the way that you want to do it, because we've done it. You know, we can't say don't do it because we're guilty of it.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, it's usually the people that are closest to you that'll take most advantage of you.
Yeah.
You know, the people that don't even know you. Oh man, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for spending 20 minutes with me or 30 minutes with me and going over that stuff with me.
That's
true.
These
are the type of people that reach out and they're so grateful and so thankful. But then it's the people that you're closest to. They don't value your time because they've known you from way back when. And then when you hire them, they're the individuals first to want to maybe take a day off or showing up 10 or 15 minutes late. They're taking advantage of the situation because they know who you are. Right. And they bring their bias into the situation. Oh man, Kale used to be we partied so much way back in the day. He's cool. He's fine with it.
Yeah.
And then at that point, now you're presented with an issue because you have these other employees that are looking at you on what are you going to do about it? Because if you let that individual that's a friend kind of run amok in your business and come and go when they want or show up late or miss days, and other people see that that's the tone that you're setting, and then when somebody else asks for a day off or shows up 15 minutes late and you want to, obviously have that stern conversation with them, letting them know that that's not okay, you don't have the right to do that.
Right.
Because they've literally watched you and saw how you dealt with this other situation. So you're letting a pass happen over here, but then you're going to hold hard ground over here. That's not the right thing to do. And so it comes to the point where, I fired my cousin. We fired our buddy Bobby.
Yeah.
I fired your sister, your dad,
brother.
Your brother. I fired your whole family except for your mom and your other brother.
We had to do that with Jeremy's dad too, dude.
So
his brother's still around, but some of Jim Jeremy's family works.
And I'm not saying that they won't work out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not going to project.
It's up to them.
It's up to the individual
Right.
to decide whether or not they want to make something of themselves. But before Garrett passed away, he would text me quite a bit and say, man, dude, I'm really proud of you, dude. It's really awesome to see how far you've come, and he still was struggling with some of his issues and stuff, but he would flat out say, dude, like, you're motivating me to really want to do something for myself. And then he'd start reaching out and be like, what do you think about this business? Should I do this? Hey, man, I'm thinking about flipping cars. Yeah. And then they watch you rise to something, to a level that they maybe didn't even think was possible because they've seen some of your lows, right? We did lots of very bad things together in terms of drugs and drinking and this and that or whatever. And so to watch you go from a spot like that to, starting to become successful, that's going to actually motivate other people. Totally. So again, how is that selfish?
Yeah.
It's not selfish.
I know.
You're actually doing a greater good in the world for removing negative people out of your life.
Exactly.
Because
just be prepared for it though, as you do start cutting people in your life.
It will happen.
And at the end of the day, man, what we're talking about here today, it's just a good-ass strategy for business and for life and growth. Dude, you should strategically cut people out of your life and look at the people you want in your life, and surround yourself with them.
I have multiple friends that still owe me money.
Yeah.
I
just write that shit off.
Oh, yeah. I don't give any money that I'm not willing to see.
They edge back into your life, and you're like, hey, by the way, man.
Yeah.
Remember that $400 you owe me?
No, it's like $1,200 and $1,000 over here. There's a comma in some of the ones that owe me. And again,
Steve Mello still owes me $50 from a bag of weed in high school that he never gave me, bro.
Steve,
if you're listening, Steve Mello.
Steve. We're coming after you. Okay, we're sending
so
you.
Mad, dude.
We're sending him to collections,
I
dude,
had
with
50
high
or 60
interest.
bucks, and I remember
That's a lot of money as a kid.
and I was in high school, bro, and I didn't really like weed that much, but I was getting it for some friends and me, and we were gonna do the thing that weekend.
Do the thing.
And that dude was like, "Yeah, I'll bring you back the bag or whatever later." Dude, I never saw him again, bro. And then when I did, because I think he was like one of them kids that just wouldn't come to school when he didn't want to, so he disappeared for months. And then when he did, he acted like he didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, you got something else you can front me?
I was like,
I was actually I was on the opposite. I was Steve in high school. So good thing we didn't know each other. You know, it could have put a kink in the relationship. But, you know, I had a good buddy, gave me an ounce of weed. And I was like, yeah, dude, I'll sell it for you. You know, and I was a pothead. And I was like, I called my homies up. I'm like, dude.
I'm not having.
Yeah, get out the bong.
That bag just kept getting smaller and smaller, man.
Yeah. Dude, are you sure you gave me an ounce, bro? It looked like an eighth. I'll give you $50, you know? And so I was a bad friend at one point, definitely, without a doubt. You know, I was.
Me too, dude. You got to go through it.
I was condoning, you know, negative things by being a part of it.
Yeah.
So if you're a part of something that's negative, you know, drinking constantly to the point where you're blacking out, you know, that's unhealthy. There's something subconsciously going on that you're trying to run away from. Yeah. I enjoy still having a couple drinks. You know, we went to Vegas last week and we drank drinks by the pool and we had a great time.
Yeah.
We went to dinner and we at what? 7, 8, 9 o'clock, and we went up to bed by 9:30, or whatever.
It's like kids played. Good little trip.
Yeah. So
I wish I ate a little bit more before I drank, dude.
Yeah,
I got a little bit sick. It hit me hard, bro. I didn't even feel like I had that many drinks, but I just didn't eat the whole drive to Vegas. I didn't eat.
Well, when you got up,
I didn't eat that morning.
When you got up, you're like, oh, you know, like, and I told Logan, I was like, Kale might have had a couple drinks up in the room before he came down. That's why we asked you when you got back to the pool. We're like, did you have something to drink before? You're like, no, I've just had those 3 drinks.
Yeah.
But I'm on an empty stomach. So, unrelated topic, but
eat before you.
You know, if you got friends on an empty stomach and you're gonna have drinks, hook them up with a little, like a granola bar or something before. You know, be a good friend. But you know, listen. We don't want you guys to misconstrue having fun with people and your friends, even in these networking events. What do they do at the end of the day?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody comes. There's usually there's a social hour usually at the end of some of these events, and everyone goes to the bar
at the hotel
and
bar,
they have
buy
like
each other drinks,
2, 3, 4 drinks, and they get to know each other.
Talk about the shit we just learned. Talk about business strategy, dude. I mean, we've been doing business deals with people and making a lot of money off of them.
Exactly.
So, I think it's great.
Well, just because of one, being in one group, the ROT, I mean, even Apex group has been great in terms of some of the referrals and some of the stuff that we've received there. But I mean, being in the ROT group that at one point cost us $6,000 a month each. You know, we now have a business that we started up 4 months ago that's billing $60,000+ a month already. You know, by this time next year, it should be hitting a $250,000 to $300,000 a month residually. Yeah. You know, and that was out of a connection inside of one of those groups. Right. And there's just great people in there that enjoy having a good time too. Yeah. You know, the work hard, play hard thing, that's cool. Yeah. I'm 100% cool with that. But if there's no work hard and it's just play hard, that's when it's not cool. And when I'm talking about playing hard, that doesn't mean every single weekend. Like there's times where you can let your hair down and have a couple drinks and get to know somebody in a networking event. Yep. There's times where you can have friends that are successful like us, that when we hang out, we go have drinks by the pool and we can have a good time and stare at our stock portfolios and talk about money and, you know, cool shit, you know? Yeah, exactly. So, but again, some of the topics that we talk about are work related, business related, some of the business relationships that we have or trying to have, and some of the investments that we would like to do, what we want to do with our money. Yep. And those are just healthy, good conversations rather than talking about, oh, did you see so-and-so? Their car got repoed. You know, it's like, okay, you know, I'd rather talk about so-and-so that just got a Lamborghini or this or that. Good for him. You know, like when you get to a point of a certain level of success, when you know how hard it is to obtain something, you actually are like, wow, good for them. Like I was watching, you know, Andy Frisella do his first form thing on his Instagram stories of that new building. Yeah. And the whole time, the only thing I could think about is how much sacrifice and how much stress and struggle had that individual had to go through in order to have that. So much. And so when you get to the point of being successful, you start associating what they have with how much stress and struggle that they were ultimately able to bear.
Right.
And that individual is deserving of success because of the amount of stress and sacrifice that they've had to go through. And they've had to make so many right decisions and probably a lot of wrong decisions, but they stayed the path for so long that they now have all this cool shit. And if anything, they're an example of what's possible provided you go through the shit, provided you put your head down and make sacrifices. And some of the sacrifices that we're talking about is removing deadbeat people from your life, whether it's friends, family,
we say it
or
all
whatever.
the time that growth in business and personally is always on the other side of just doing those hard things and having those hard conversations with people that you got to cut out of your life, or just fading them out of your life. Dude, that's one of the hard things. That is one of the hard things that growth is going to come from. And so that's just a fact. But so to recap, dude, basically you got to look for people that have bad habits. They are haters. You got to cut out the people that are borrowing money from you. You know,
complain all the time. They take no ownership.
Victim-y.
They like to talk about other people's downfalls. They have no goals. If every text that you receive from an individual is, "Hey, let's go party. Let's go party. Let's do this.
Low
let's
ambition.
do that." Exactly. Like those are telltale signs. And again, you guys, if you're younger listening to this, you probably won't understand. Because you have that.
But the sooner you do, the better off you'll be.
Exactly. The older that you get, it's easier.
Well, we can always say, "Man, I wish I would have known that sooner," and I do.
Yeah, it's easier to see some of this stuff when you get older and you have kids and you see who your kids hang out with. You're like, "Oh, that's a bad kid. You don't want to hang out with that kid," or whatever, or he makes bad choices. And that's what you need to understand is, as parents, we like to try to protect our children and make sure they're hanging out with a good group of people, right? And I had a conversation with even Jeremy's little son, 13 years old. And I was like, "Man, you're 13. Good for you." I said, "You don't want to know what I was doing when I was 13. And Jeremy's like, "Tell him." And I was like, "You want me to tell him the truth, or you want me to just sugarcoat it a little bit and say I studied and was a great student and all that?" And he's like, "No, tell him." And I said, "I started smoking weed at 13 and hung out with the wrong crowd. I hung out with the wrong crowd to the point where I quit and I gave up on baseball, which is one of the things that I loved more than anything at one point." So I started removing the things that I loved out of my life to hang out with a specific group of people that didn't love the same things that I loved, but I loved the numbing effect of weed and alcohol and some of those things at 13 and 14 and 15 and trying to fit in,
or whatever.
Stand out, don't fit in. Okay, that's the problem. Is we all want friends to feel good and feel like we're a part of something, but I'd rather be a part of nothing than be a part of something negative.
True.
That's really what it comes down to. And so, we're not stating this. It's just a weird topic because it's really hard to determine who's toxic and who's not. But you need to start analyzing their habits. And so that's what you would do if you look at somebody successful. They get up early. They like to exercise. They read self-help books or podcasts or whatever it is. They're always trying to grow to the next best level of themselves. And those are the type of people that you want to surround yourself with, because when you see them win, you're like, "Holy shit, dude, they just did this." And then that you're one good decision away from something major happening in your life, something breaking free in your business. Right. And it all starts with, again, not adding things to your life, removing things from your life. Simplify your life by removing the negative people out of your life and put yourself in a situation where you're insulated by positivity and individuals that are thriving to try to get to that next level. And once you get to that point, it's just going to be a part of who you are, a part of the friends that you hang out with. I mean,
and when you do hit lows, dude, because we do, it's you get pulled out a lot quicker, a lot easier.
And if you're following the right people on Facebook, they're talking about all the deals that they're doing. And again, because when you're that deep in business and success and self-development, you have no room to sit there and post negative shit and be negative. You're focused on going to that next level, no matter what the hurdle is, whether it's a pandemic or the next downfall of the economy or whatever it is. That stuff is going to happen in cycles over and over and over throughout life. This is just a point in life where they're far easier to point out, and they're exposed right now. They're completely exposed, and
it's a great time for you to
analyze.
Analyze and look at that.
Audit
your friends.
Audit your friends.
Pandemics.
And if you, exactly.
Well, anytime. Tough economies, pandemics, I mean, it is true, dude. You look at it as an opportunity. Okay, I look at it as an opportunity. Like, what can I do to get better through this? Okay, start removing some of these people. That's one thing you could do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things you could do too
Yeah.
to grow during times like this as well. But that's definitely one of them because
I would
the masks are off.
Yeah. They're on, but off. But I mean, again, if you have somebody that you really truly love and care about that you feel that has a victim mentality or they're a negative individual, it's if you want them in your life, then you should feel obligated to try to do what's best for them by, one, having maybe some of those honest conversations that we talked about, and secondly, start inviting them to listen to the podcast you listen to. Right. Start inviting them to an event that you're going to go to that's a self-help event. And if they just say, that's stupid, that's just a bunch of bullshit. Yeah. And if that's the way that they start acting when you're inviting them to grow with you, then that could be red flag number one right there. Yeah. And just invite them. Throw the invite out,
I agree.
But, that's the end of today's podcast in regards to, dropping deadbeat friends or deadbeat people, just in general, humans, out of your life. And I'll go ahead and end it with a review per usual. Awesome podcast. They always keep it real and relevant. Great podcast for any entrepreneur at any level to better your business as well as themselves. So, guys, just make sure that, again, you surround yourself with good people. And if you surround yourself with good people, good things will happen. That's just the way it goes. And if they're not good people right now and they don't have good habits, help them try to have good habits by inviting them to work out. Invite them to listen to the podcast when you guys are on a road trip. Invite them, wherever it is.
Yeah. Should that be the next challenge, dude?
Is what?
Austin was just queuing me up. He said, "You guys gonna do a challenge again?"
Yeah, we haven't done a challenge in a hot minute. So I think what you should do is challenge one of your friends to listen to the Real Business Owners podcast, and I'll do the same.
I'll do that. I'll challenge some friends.
So, no, but for real, make sure that you guys. Again, have them absorb the same content you're absorbing so that you can become more of a power team rather than, having to yo-yo back and go into a negative space just to hang out with people that probably are good people. Their just mind is not right now, right? Yeah. And so, we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hope you guys have a great week. Take care.